Well, I'm going to bring to the stage right now the 2018 Willie Brown Community Icon Award recipient, none other than Mr. Garry Moore.
What happened to the video? It's like everybody else got a video, and I didn't get a video. That's it? Come on, man. Hey, Jermaine, Ware, I do have a book for you. 1995. Hey, thank you so much. I'm losing my voice, as you can tell. And those of you who know me know that I've spent most of my professional life in television and now back in radio in Peoria with WPNV. And having recently left television and returning to radio, I feel compelled to tell you about something that's happening right before our eyes, and that is a cultural crisis that is playing out in media, not just in television and radio, but social media as well. My brother Ralph is here from Chicago, him and his wife Charmaine. I wanted to acknowledge them and thank them for coming. But Ralph and I talk a lot. He's a psychologist, and we talk about the neuroscience research that's been done on our kids and the impact of media. And I'm here to tell you that there's something that's very unique to our community and to our particular peculiar situation. So as if 300 some years of slavery and 100 years of discrimination were not enough to have a negative impact on us, nowadays we're looking at media as being sort of a Trojan horse that is in our community, eating up like a cancer our children's minds from within. I want you to know that something is wrong when virtually every new hip-hop or R&B song has profanity in it. And if you don't think I'm serious, turn on Sirius to channels 42, 43, 45, and you will hear songs with the P word, the B word, the F word, the D word. And in Peoria recently at the Soul Fest, a rapper got on stage and publicly in front of thousands of people said some things that I don't feel comfortable saying privately to people. How does this happen? Since when did self-degradation pass for music or pass for normal? So I'm not a minister. I'm not here to preach piety with my imperfect soul, but I sometimes feel like a whole ministry needs to be devoted to fixing this cultural crisis. That's one of the things that I wanted to share with you. We need 100 black men because we got 99 problems. And I'm just one. One black man, not one of the 99 problems. I feel like I can borrow from Jay-Z because he and the Queen Bee, got to stand in front of the Louvre and rap about ape crap, right? What a platform. Think about the platform that we have in media. We have shows on television like basketball wives, married to medicine, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop, huge platforms with well-to-do black women, seemingly intelligent, cosmopolitan, with huge homes, huge diamonds, huge implants. And yet, very small and petty-minded. We can take a knee with Colin Kaepernick, raise a fist for Trayvon, while Beyonce puts her middle finger up and gets Serena Williams to drop it like it's hot in her video and not be sorry. So we've got some serious media problems. Flavor Flav, and then Whitney and Bobby. I thought that was the end of it. So the Russians were wise to the power of media, as you know. They knew that Americans were fickle, that Americans only believed the last thing they heard. Americans didn't do any kind of deep dive. And so you know that they influenced the election and hacked into our system and put out a lot of false, fake information. Couple that with the fact that on Facebook, everybody's an expert. And you can put out a lie about somebody that can go viral for 2 or 3 weeks before you can even dial it back. And then we have kids playing Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty and Fortnite. So some say we're in a cultural war, and we are, and that we're losing that war. And so I would appeal to you as someone who spent almost 40 years in media, in radio and in television, that you should do a few things. Get yourself a media diet. Make sure that your children have a media diet. Police what they watch. Make sure that your input is wholesome. Make sure you don't get your news just from one source. Make sure you read some books. Support the arts. Support black theater. And the last thing is believe in our children. Because our children are our future, and they do have answers. I'll tell you a couple real quick stories about my grandsons. I have a grandson, Kanye, who is 11 years old, and we were talking about the school shootings and how sad that was. And he was commenting about how sad, he was watching the news and watching these school shootings. And the news came on, and someone had come up with a video game of school shootings, where you could play a video game and simulate that you were shooting up a school. And Kanye said, you know, Dad, that's just, he calls me Dad, that's just terrible, that's a horrible thing. And I said, yeah, it is, Kanye, it really is terrible. And he said, and then he paused, and then he said, but you know, I can think of one good reason why that game exists. And I started thinking, oh man, there's no good reason. And I said, okay, well, what's the good reason why this exists? And he said, well, maybe they came up with a game to give people who want to do school shootings something they could do so that they don't do it for real. And then I thought, wow, that actually makes sense. And to think about it, it's going to be his generation that's going to have to solve that problem. And relative to Beyonce, he was in the back seat once, and that song, Sorry, came on. The song where she talks about, I got my middle finger up. And he said, Dad, why are we playing this song? And I said, you know, you're right, Kanye, we probably should be playing this song because she's got She's talking about she's got her middle finger up. And he said, well, no, I wasn't talking about that. She was saying, I'm not sorry. And when you do something wrong to somebody, you're supposed to apologize. So our children give us hope because his innocence made my day. And the last thing I wanted to share with you that Tony Jones is going to help me out with, but not just yet. Because even though they didn't have a video for me, I brought my own visuals. So we can't go a whole evening and not talk about Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I'm a news person. So I have a new grandson. He's 4 months old. His name is Kendrick. And you think about my first grandson is Kanye Jordan. And this is Kendrick James. So because I'm retired, they bring me the grandson because I don't have anything to do. They drop him off at 8 o'clock and they don't pick him up until 1 or 2. And so I'm there with him. It's just me and him against the world. And I'm trying to get him to laugh and goo-goo gaga stuff, and he's just deadpan. He doesn't respond to anything. And so I had the television on, I don't know if it was CNN or Fox or MSNBC, and they were talking about Trump, and they were talking about the Russians may have something on Trump, and they said there may be something in the dossier. And he started to laugh. And then I went to him and I was like, there's gotta be something in the dossier. And he just cracks up. So whenever I say, there's gotta be something in the dossier, he just cracks up. And so I took a picture of him after I said, there's gotta be something in the dossier. Do we have it? Thank you so much for the award. God bless you.